Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and today we are going to do another food tour. We're going to go over to the Magic Kingdom to Fantasyland. Okay, let's start small and we will build up from there. So the first place I want to go is actually the location of one of my favorite snacks in Disney World right now, and that's Cheshire Cafe. I'm going to head over to Cheshire Cafe, which is basically just an ordering window. It has a couple of tables outside, but that's about it. A few years ago, they had one of my favorite snacks in Disney, probably my favorite snack in Disney World, which were called these Cheshire Cake Cups. And it was basically a cupcake, but with just a ton of frosting all inside a little plastic glass. It was awesome because you know me, I just want more frosting all the time. But then they kind of took it away and there wasn't really anything there, and all you could get was slushes and some cheese Danish. But now they've brought something in that I really love, which is called the Cheshire Cattail. And this is very similar to what they have over in Disneyland, these little kind of chocolate twists. It's a pastry, and baked into the pastry is kind of a ribbon of chocolate chips and chocolate fudge almost. It's insane. Now, I am not a big pastry fan, so I don't know why I love this so much. The whole thing is drizzled with a generous amount of glaze to look like the Cheshire Cat. Man, this is so good. I get it, and I plan on having like half of it, and I eat the whole thing, and it's a disaster. Really, really good. So put it on your list. I don't know why I love it so much, but I don't know. It's awesome. And don't forget, they also still do have slushes at Cheshire Cafe and so, little other things, but nothing, to recommend it or to make it a destination except for that Cheshire Cattail. Okay, next up, let's head over to Friar's Nook. Friar's Nook is one of those weird places in Disney World that they sort of test out some new snacks every once in a while. This was one of the first places where you could get those gourmet mac and cheeses with the stuff on top. You can still get that there, but they are going to change the menu. They said they were going to change the menu back in October, and it hasn't happened yet, but we are expecting to see, I believe, a fried Twinkie come onto the menu and a couple of other things. I think there's going to be some loaded tots there. Still waiting for that to happen. Hope it'll happen soon. But otherwise, right now you can get, I think, a hot dog and some barbecue mac and cheese. You used to be able to get kind of a potato chip version of Figaro fries here. Used to kind of like a heart attack. Can't get that anymore. Then they switched to chicken nuggets. Now you've got the hot dog and the mac and cheese, hoping we'll get some loaded tots in the new year. So stay tuned with Friar's Nook. Okay, next let's go next door to Friar's Nook to Storybook Treats. This place is an ice cream location. They used to have some really cool sundaes. They had a cookie fudge sundae that you could get caramel sauce on and hot fudge. They had a strawberry shortcake sundae, and a couple of years ago they brought it down so it was just like a hot fudge sundae and a strawberry sauce sundae, and it was super boring. But I just noticed that they brought back a cookie sundae, so you can get the cookie with the hot fudge and the ice cream. So that's pretty cool. Still not as awesome as it used to be, but if you got a hankering for some soft serve, Storybook Treats is the way to go. Now you can get a cookie in your sundae, so there you go. Okay, and the next sort of counter service location with not a lot to offer, there are some good things here. I know, you're like, what could it be? We're gonna go to Gaston's Tavern. Gaston's Tavern is... I gotta make sure I'm saying Gaston right. Now, you guys have really freaked me out because I always say it wrong. Gaston, right? So Gaston's Tavern is over in New Fantasyland, and although the menu is very small, it is mighty. They have those great cinnamon rolls that used to be at the Main Street Bakery, and then they transferred them over to Gaston's Tavern when Main Street Bakery went Starbucks. And so these are pretty amazing. I must say, though, that you do need to ask for the extra icing. If you get a cast member that's willing to throw some extra icing on there for you, it's well worth it. They used to have the pork shank here. They used to have a really good pot roast. I know, I'm just telling you what they used to have. They don't have any of that stuff anymore. So now it's sort of a minimal menu, and the real reason to go there is for those cinnamon rolls. But I'm hopeful that they'll bring something awesome back. We'll see. Now I'm going to pop over to Big Top Treats. Big Top Treats isn't technically a restaurant at all. It's a merchandise location. This is in Storybook Circus, but this is sort of a counterpoint to the confectionery on Main Street. They serve basically the same stuff. You've got those candy apples and caramel apples. You've got pretty much all the same things you're going to find in the bakery case up at confectionery. They also have added here a candy apple. So they've got sort of a Dumbo themed candy apple. They've got some house-made caramel corn here, and they do serve the Goofy's Glaciers here as well, which is sort of a slush. Their Goofy is nowhere involved. They just call them Goofy's Glaciers. So if you don't want to wait in line at the confectionery for your Mickey caramel apple or your fudge or your cupcake or anything like that, you can head back to Big Top Treats, and usually there is not a very big line over here. Also note, in Storybook Circus, we're not going to talk about them specifically, but they do have like popcorn carts and a hot dog cart and a pretzel cart back here. Every once in a while you'll get something interesting like a spring roll back here in Storybook Circus, but they're very rarely open, so I'm not going to talk about them here because it's rare that you're even going to get to have something from there. And if you do, it's not that big a deal anyway. Okay, so let's go to Prince Eric's Village Market. This is another just sort of a cash register and some food. This is usually pretty basic stuff like nuts and veggies and hummus and things like that. Every once in a while, they'll throw something interesting here. They had some shave ice for a little while. They had some fried chicken for a little while, which was actually pretty good. So you never know what you're going to get here. They tend to step up the offerings when it's super, super crowded and there's no place else to eat. And of course, that's going to be right across from the Little Mermaid attraction because it's Prince Eric. All right, so now we're going to head over to the actual sort of counter service locations. We will go to Pinocchio Village Haus. Pinocchio Village Haus, which a lot of people don't realize is not Pinocchio's Village House. There's no apostrophe S, it's just Pinocchio. I don't know why. It's just what it is. Pinocchio Village Haus tends to serve flatbreads and Italian-leaning options. So I think right now they've got a chicken parmesan on the menu. They've got usually a tomato basil soup. They either have garlic nuts or breadsticks. They've got some salads, like a Caesar salad. This place is okay. The food here is not the best counter service food you're going to get in Magic Kingdom by far. We do have a, best counter service restaurants in Magic Kingdom video if you want to go check it out. But it's fine, and this is a huge restaurant, so there's a lot of places to sit. Speaking of, if you are going to sit indoors at Pinocchio Village Haus, I recommend going over and getting a seat so you can watch It's a Small World attraction. You can go sit and kind of wave at the people going by in the boats. It's kind of fun. Also at Pinocchio Village Haus, another little hidden tip. A lot of people don't realize there are stairs, but there are. If you go upstairs, there's a couple of tables lining the windows up there, and there also are a couple of tables outside on the balcony, so that's a good place to go. You can watch the fireworks from behind the castle. You can just people watch up there. It's kind of neat. Just something not a lot of people know about. But in terms of the food, it's fine. I would probably go over to Columbia Harbor House or Pecos Bill. I would probably even go to Cosmic Rays before Pinocchio Village Haus, but it's all right. Okay, and now we've got two table service restaurants in Fantasyland. We will start with Be Our Guest Restaurant, which of course is one of the most popular restaurants in Walt Disney World right now. It is in the Beast's Castle, and you head on over and they have some French-leaning options. Breakfast and lunch here are counter service, technically, even though you are going to be served on real plates and your food's going to be brought to you. You're not literally ordering at a counter, you're ordering at a kiosk instead, or you can pre-order your breakfast and lunch here on My Disney Experience app. And then dinner is going to be table service here, so that's going to be sit down, order from a menu in front of you, etc. But these all take reservations, so even though breakfast and lunch are counter service, technically in terms of your Disney dining plan credit, you do need a reservation to dine here. There are opportunities to walk up, of course, but you can make a reservation if you want to sort of lock in your opportunity to eat there. This place is really popular because you are in the Beast's Castle. You can't see inside the restaurant unless you are dining there. There are 3 very cool dining rooms to eat in, and you can watch our whole video on Is Be Our Guest Worth It right over here. It's still a very beloved restaurant. A lot of people definitely want to dine there. My number 1 tip is to go there for lunch if you're going to go. Breakfast is way overpriced, so unless you're using a dining plan counter service credit, you don't want to eat breakfast there. It costs $25 a plate, and they're just not worth it. Lunch, I think, has some really good food, and again, it's just a counter service credit or a moderately priced option. Dinner is going to be a table service credit on the dining plan, and it's decently expensive. I mean, it's up there and it's pricey, and I don't know that the food is necessarily worth the price. So there's the options. FYI, at dinner is the only time the Beast comes out. He comes out and you can go meet him in his study. He does not come out during breakfast and lunch. Okay, there's too much information about Be Our Guest. If you want to know more, head over and watch that video where I talked about it for like 15 minutes. The next table service location is Cinderella's Royal Table, of course. This is the one in the castle, and you go upstairs to the grand dining room and ballroom in Cinderella Castle. You're going to meet princesses here. You'll meet Cinderella herself downstairs, and all of her buddies are upstairs, and these buddies can include Belle and Snow White. You might meet Aurora. Ariel's been there. Jasmine's been there. You never know who you're going to meet, but it's really, really fun up there. A really intriguing dining room. The food's very expensive here. not worth the price. But what is worth the price one time is eating in the castle. And I say that every time. I know you guys who are regular subscribers of ours have heard me say a million times. It's always good to eat in the castle one time, but it's probably not worth the money to go back over and over again. So really enjoy it that first time you're in there, because you're not going to want to part with the dough to go in again. So that's Fantasyland. Those are all the restaurants, counter service locations, kiosks, and, little carts basically that you can find in Fantasyland to eat. This is AJ for Disney Food Blog. I can't wait to hear what you think. Let us know in the comments your favorite spots in Fantasyland and whether you recommend some of these restaurants or not. Thanks for watching. Again, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.